All right, let's get to the top of the hour now. New York City's Mayor Eric Adams is about to give an update on the city's very dangerous air quality as hundreds of intense, out-of-control wildfires are burning millions of acres all across Canada. And that is sending very thick, hazardous clouds of smoke drifting into the U.S., blanketing large portions of the Midwest and Northeast, darkening skylines and putting tens of millions of Americans under air quality alerts. Welcome to a brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Dana Perino. Good morning.
Morning to you.
You see this in Ohio?
Saw a little bit, too. A little bit of haze throughout the air.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of it in New York. I mean, I mentioned earlier, it looked like October outside the window. I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. Folks from the Dakotas and Massachusetts breathing air filled with smoke, triggering air quality health advisories, warning a lot of people to limit your outside activity, especially for anyone with underlying medical conditions who might have trouble breathing. Video from the space station 240 miles up, showing the extent of the smoke from wildfires billowing in the atmosphere. The smoke is expected to stick around for at least a few more days, and an expert on human exposure to air pollution spells out the possible danger for many. Listen.
The levels that people, if they were to be outside, especially if they're exercising, breathing faster, they're going to be inhaling particulates at concentrations that normal smokers would inhale.
Dr. Nicole Saphier joining us in a moment with more on the hazard to your health and what you need to know. But first, Fox Weather meteorologist Jane Menard reporting live from New York City's Times Square. Hi, Jane.
Hi, good morning, Dana. Bill, yeah, over 9 million acres on fire in Canada, and many of those fires uncontrolled right now. It has really prompted a lot of this smoke to continue to billow over the border, all thanks to a blocked weather pattern that we have in place across the country right now. Big ridge of high pressure out to the west. We have this low pressure system spinning off to the east of the northeastern region, and all of this smoke billowing its way through western New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and into the 95 corridor. In fact, it is not until the wind direction changes that we're expecting to get relief. That's not expected to happen until this weekend by Saturday. And so it's still going to be a tough go. In the meantime, air quality alerts are up for millions. School districts in the region have gone ahead and canceled any outdoor activities. That's going to keep children off the playgrounds, in the schools, windows expected to be shut. But you mentioned it was an eerie look over New York City yesterday, just across the Hudson River on the Jersey side. You can barely make out the New York City skyline, and that's another look at what we're seeing today. An ominous start to the morning with a red sun blazing over the Hudson Bay. Smoke continues to sit just over the city, and it's causing a lot of irritation. Just standing out here over the last couple of hours, my eyes continue to water, continue to feel irritable. We're expecting that this smoke is going to stick around and make it difficult for a lot of people to get around. New York City, a commuter city, a lot of people walking out and about to get to their offices, get to and from home. And so it's best that you stay indoors as long as you possibly can and make sure that you are taking those precautions, especially for those who are sensitive, like young children.
Jane, thank you so much. And joining us now for more on the growing health threat, Dr. Nicole Saphier. She's a Fox News contributor and assistant professor at Weill Cornell Medical College. I noticed that a few people have actually broken out their N95 masks. Is that something that can help in a situation like this?
Well, that's a good question, Dana. And while we can say with confidence the single-layer cloth mask and probably even the single-layer medical masks probably won't do much when it comes to the microparticles that we're concerned about with wildfire, it is possible that the N95s, if worn appropriately, it can help filter out some of that particulate. Now, we know that rising pollution levels have always been a concern, but when it comes to wildfires, the fine particulate matter, what we refer to as PM 2.5, that can be even more toxic than the ambient microparticles. That's because it's more carbonaceous and it can get into the bloodstream because it doesn't get filtered out by the upper respiratory system. And so it gets into the bloodstream. So not only does it cause irritation to the lungs, to the eyes, to the nose, to the mouth, but then once it's in the blood, potentially to the heart. Now, the good news is, Dana, the far majority of people who are healthy, who have good functioning lungs, that they will filter out the majority of these toxins. Those who have chronic lung issues or other chronic medical morbidities or who we're more concerned about right now. We want to make sure everyone who has asthma or any other lung disease has ample supply of their inhalers. They're in constant communication with their doctors. But it is important that everyone avoid being outside right now as much as possible. That's the best way to keep you and your family safe.
Yeah, just listening to our reporter there in Times Square. You feel it in your eyes, that's for sure. But the winds are from the north, Doctor. And they're going to stay that way for at least 3 or 4 more days, which means that it's not going to stop. And until the winds shift, it's going to blow out to the ocean. So I would imagine over 3 or 4 days, you could be bringing on more problems with yourself.
Well, I listened to Janice Dean, and I heard her say earlier on Fox and Friends that because of the winds, that by the end of the weekend, you should see a shift in this. But I can tell you, you have a lot of people. I myself, my kids have soccer games, basketball games. There's a couple of races this weekend. Those are probably not a good idea if the particulate matter in the air is still as high as it is. Because I can tell you, as we heard the person earlier in that saw it, being outside right now is like smoking cigarettes. It's not a joke. It is dangerous to be outside. So we really should decrease the amount of time spent outside, especially with increased activity like a soccer game where you're breathing more and requiring more oxygen to come in, because as you're sucking in more oxygen, you're also sucking in more of that particulate matter.
Right, it's true. That could require a lot of changes on the family schedule for the weekend. Well, let's hope those winds change and that everybody stays safe. Dr. Nicole Saphier, great to see you. Thanks so much.